last. All right, we're live and we'll call the work session of the Site Plan Review Technical Advisory Committee meeting to order for January 13th. First item we have is 238 Austin Street, site plan review. Take it away.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. So this site here is really odd shape. We have frontage on Austin and on Coffins. And actually, I think in the late 80s, these two lots were merged. So there was a division in there years ago. We're actually headed to the ZBA later this month, but we did want to come see you because eventually, after we get through ZBA, we'd go for subdivision and go through TAC. So on this first sheet, our existing conditions plan, you can see the existing house is on Austin Street. And then there's a really large barn kind of stuffed in on Coffins. So nothing meets building coverage, sideline, rear, front setbacks. Parking is kind of abysmal. So we're really trying to improve everything we can here. If you go to the next sheet, so this is our subdivision plan, and we've put in a division line, so there's two parcels. We've removed the existing buildings and put in new, smaller buildings. So what that'll result in is the building coverage will meet the regulations. We will meet the setbacks, and on each parcel, the building will have a garage for one vehicle and an additional spot in the driveway for another vehicle. If you can flip to the next sheet. So this is kind of zoomed in on Austin Street. So we've kept that curb cut on the east side and given it enough room so you have a driveway and you have a garage. And then you can see the surrounding dashed setbacks were all inside. And then if you can flip to the next sheet. So now we're over on Coffins Court. So remove that enormous barn and put in the smaller building, and able to get two vehicles off of Coffins Court. Coffins Court is really narrow, and the way it is now with that barn, you can kind of get in next to the barn diagonally, but you're kind of sticking out in the right of way as well. And then if you can go to the last sheet, so this kind of shows the entire block. And on Coffins Court, from the deeds from way back, they call that easement a right-of-way, a 12-foot wide lane. It'd probably be best to have one way from Cabot to Union, but that may require a lot from the neighbors, and I think everyone goes 5 miles an hour there. So we feel by getting rid of that barn and making enough room to get 2 vehicles off. We've made a substantial improvement there. So we just wanted to get everyone's take at this work session and go from there.
Comments from TAC members?
When we did the Union Street project, we did put gravity sewer onto Coffin's Court. A stub for sewer was left to this barn. The previous owner, or possibly current owner, said they had some intention, so we ended up putting that stub in. We did not do water main work in that area, so there is not a water service left to that lot.
Okay.
So there will be enhanced fees because now you have to dig up the road that we just paved. Just so you're aware. The other issue that we were talking about earlier was that there's only secondary power on Coffin's Court. If you try to put a house in there that requires more energy than is available, you will likely increase the amount of setback that you have off Coffin's Court because you can't have primary on Coffin's Court. There's not enough room. So, really, you could probably have a 200 amp service in that house. Anything bigger than that, you're gonna have significant problems. Be aware.
Thank you.
Austin Street has nothing but antique services out there. We're planning on redoing Austin Street in the near future, but it's not done yet. Couldn't afford it. It was part of the Union Street project, but we couldn't afford the additional expense. So we have to go back in there. We're still coming back to work on Cabot Street, coming back to work on Austin Street. There'll be a future project coming, but it's not here today. But as far as we can tell, Austin Street, that side is fine. There's power there, there's everything you need,
Everything's
but
serving.
there's no, is there gas on Coffins? There's gas on part of it. Might be gas available, but the electric might be an issue, and you're gonna have to go out into the street to grab water.
Is it possible?
Fire suppression is not possible, it's a 2-inch line.
Is it possible to run a water line from Austin over to the Cabot lot? If ripping up Coffins?
It's not worth it, believe me. It's only a small patch, it's a little tiny street,
Gotcha.
just pay the fees,
Right.
and we'll all be happier, trust me.
Dave, you had a look when Alex mentioned one-way
Do
street.
not do one way,
Do not
it's
do
not gonna
one
be a
way.
very popular thing. It's fine,
Fair enough.
all is well.
All is well. Fair enough.
You just go through the variances here. Or do you not have that?
Yeah, I think we can do that. So if we zoom into this subdivision plan. So in this zone, the parcel area is required to be 3,500 square feet. So what we've done here is the parcel on Austin is 3,500 square feet, and the one on Coffins is below.
Lot area and lot area per dwelling.
Yes, and also, you can zoom in on the lower left, we have a chart there. So also in this area, the frontage is required to be 70 feet. Most of the lots don't have that, but we need a variance for that as well.
That's just for the Austin Street proposed lot, so it's existing frontage.
And then also on the bottom of that chart, we do list the bulkhead, which is off the rear of the structure on Coffin's Court. So just a portion of that does not meet the rear setback line.
Is that gonna be over 18 inches?
And that's what, we applied for the variance just as in an abundance of caution, because that portion of the bulkhead will be less than the 18 inches.
And you did that for both Austin Street lot and the Coffins Court lot?
Correct. Yep.
The Coffins Court, third floor bedroom will need a rescue balcony, the Austin Street will not.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, this one for both of us, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely need new driveway
The
permits.
third floor on the side, I can get a truck down there. They have a rescue window on the side, so that he can reach from Austin Street. The code strictly states aerial apparatus versus physical ladder. Can we get a ladder? Engine down there, so I need extra time because I'm not even gonna drive an engine down there probably. It's a car
There's
down
currently that pole directly in the middle of
Normally I
the
do,
Coffins
it's very
Courthouse.
situational. I based on where the egress windows were.
Not
It has
really-
to stay.
Yeah, there's no real way to move that.
Okay.
Construction.
That's where that lives.
Good place to live.
Okay.
And the rescue balcony for the coffins, that's because everything's so narrow there. It's
I can't get an aerial apparatus down that street and operate it effectively.
Okay.
Could I get it down there and jam it down there in emergency? I mean, again, maybe, but with the Austin Street side, I can get an aerial apparatus in there and hit the egress on the side, on
Sure.
the side, so.
Because you're over 20 feet.
Yeah, and it has to be over, it's not specifically the third floor, it's because the bottom of the window's over 20 feet,
Sure.
but it's only the third floor bedroom.
Yeah, it's that one, the single bedroom, right?
It's the third floor one.
Third
Because
one,
they,
okay.
because they called it failure slash.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, but then
This-
this is the Austin one.
Right.
Francis Coffins, which one's?
This is the one you were talking about, right?
Yes, it is. It's because of the street, not regarding, it doesn't matter.
Can you reach this side?
No,
No.
I can't
Okay.
get in the truck.
Sorry, Okay.
The outriggers come out and then it gets up high and it comes over 12 feet, so it's nice. It's cool.
And if you somehow divide that third floor, into you decide later on to make it into 2 rooms, you only have 2 rescue balconies.
Okay.
Sure. Now it's one big open.
Right, well, I'm just basing on what they,
Right, of course.
Does that stick out?
it'll be, they can put it on the back or the side, it then comes out with 3 feet approximately of the third floor, so. More than likely, they'd probably do that once they don't see it. They just have to have it on any one of the sides, they have to have a balcony.
So it's in the backyard?
It can be, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
They can choose, it can be in, it could be for any of the egress windows or the rear window. But based on the,
Just wanna make sure they don't need a variance. to
Right.
Put a balcony on.
Not if it's the minimum required for egress.
yeah, right.
If it's in excess of that, you would.
Is there anything currently running through that property that would require an easement?
Not that we're aware of.
But you'll find it if it's there, I'm sure.
There's nothing there.
It's never a bad idea to reach out to assessing for some map lot numbers.
Yes.
what's not there.
Right.
Which is there. Property corners, I even said it, for Christ's sakes.
I already emailed Whitney.
Might be nefarious. It's the end goal. Yeah. Understand.
We'll get to demo and construction. Are you gonna access it from both Austin and Coffins or go through Austin to the other side?
We've sort of had some discussion about that, but not a lot of discussion. I would think that perhaps from the Austin side we're attacking it from both sides. I'm not really sure. That's gonna be something we'll have to talk to the experts about. It's not me, but it does seem to make some sense to come in from Austin.
Yes. But it depends on the scenario. It's 12 feet wide, but so yeah.
Do y'all have any other questions or?
We're here for you.
No, I think I'm good.
That's my only thought was if you
This technical.
subdivide, what I'm trying to access from Austin, I need some kind of temporary construction easement, of some kind. More of a legal question, but just a thought.
Yep.
Is that the one more thing, or is there gonna be another one?
That was it. Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Any initial reactions from this group as far as the proposal goes?
I think everybody looks pretty happy.
I think so.
It's a read.
Dave always looks happy.
Yeah,
Braves.
he really does show.
Hey, he's being sincere. No, you weren't.
We'll have more to say when you come back, if you get through the variance process.
Yes.
See you at site review.
We do have two neighbors here. I don't know if you take public comment during these.
We don't usually have,
At
we don't have
the
public
work
comment.
It's just wanted to let you know.
All right,
So this is coming back for.
It's gotta get a variance first.
Okay.
You get a variance and then come back for subdivision and site review.
Sir.
Well, yeah, to this committee for subdivision.
Awesome, thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
All right. Next up, we have 479 Richards Avenue.
This is currently the last subdivision. She's concerned that which would have terrible sightlines, saying these two lots should most likely have their driveways on the south because the sightlines are better. So, part of it. Yes. This
Yeah,
lot-
we went over this before you walked in.
Sounds good.
Good to go?
Yes.
All right.
Guys ready?
All right. Yeah, I guess Sean Toby, civil engineer with Haley Ward.
I'm Shauna with Chimberg Development. Alex Montessori with the Go Real Estate.
Yeah, so we're here today just to present to the committee here, just get some preliminary feedback for a lot line adjustment and then a 2-lot subdivision on the corner of South and Richard Street. Before you, we had 2 plans, 2 existing conditions of the existing 2 lots, and then we have a plan there showing the lot line adjustment. So the first part of it would be just to do a lot line between the 2 that exist today, and then subdivide those 2 and then subsequently build 2 single-family homes. And both, as proposed, would meet all the dimensional standards. Utilities would come off of South Street, water. There is no sewer in South Street, so that would connect to the Richards Ave sewer, and then there would be an easement across the back of Lot 1 for the sewer from Lot 2. And then as we go forward with the 2 house plans, they would, again, meet the dimensional standards, be through a building permit. We would assess those from a drainage standpoint to get infiltration, just so there's not excess runoff coming off. Ideally, we'd like to get the driveway for Lot 1.
South Street.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, no problem. Ideally for Lot 1, if we could, they would prefer to get the driveway off of Richards, just because that's a little narrower there. They could tie into the garage on that end. And then Lot 2 obviously would come off of South Street for the driveway. There's not plans for the houses at this time. They'll be working on those as we go forward, but wanted to get the preliminary comments and feedback on the adjustment.
I'd say we wouldn't want the Lot 1 driveway to be any closer to the intersection than the existing driveway that's for the existing house. So
Okay,
you would need an easement across that lot. And then also in the same tune, the sewer and the drainage is only available on Richards Ave, as you
Okay.
alluded to. So you would also need an easement across that lot before you did the lot line relocation to provide sewer and drainage for both these new lots.
okay. All right,
Water, as you know, is available on South Street.
could we tie
It's
this?
a little harder to get to, so you might wanna think about that too.
Look at the water, okay. Could we tie the sewer in, if we come across the frontage, or would it have to go to the portion? Could we avoid that easement on the existing
I
homestead
don't think
parcel?
so, because you're gonna need it for the driveway anyway.
Okay, what if we switch the driveway to come off of South for both of them?
Then we would prefer you do one driveway for both lots as far away from the intersection as humanly possible.
Okay. All right, so we'll put some thought to the driveways going forward.
Yeah, just for some context, what we're dealing with is the rear versus the side lot line. And so as you can see, Lot 1, if we can apply the side setback to the lot line that is adjacent to the existing house, then it's only 10 feet, which obviously gives us more space than if that is the rear setback and that's 20 feet, then it's a very not deep building envelope. And so,
Understood.
yeah,
Yep.
that's our goal.
We just don't really want any more driveways any closer than the existing driveway, so.
Sure, I understand.
So, and I understand why you're doing the lot line relocation, I get it for the future, but, you probably, if you're gonna come off Lot 1 from that side, then we're gonna want it where the driveway is now.
Okay.
If we did do a shared driveway off of South Street, Dave, you have big heartburn about it being at the lot line? The curb cut?
Not necessarily, but, the access to those lots is gonna be pretty bad.
They're tight.
I mean, it's not gonna be a good selling point, honestly. I mean, I would put that other driveway as far away from that intersection as you can get it, and then use the existing driveway on Richards, cause that usually has less queuing, at least you can get out and go toward town.
It'd make our lot better too, just have to see what the abutter says. Thank you.
Is there any limit to the amount of homes that could be on the shared driveway? I don't know if this is
Two, once you go
Two.
3, then the shared driveway has to become a private road.
okay. So I was thinking that existing driveway, maybe even just using it for all 3, but that won't work.
But you could do a private road. Nothing to stop it, right? It just
You could.
would need to be designated that way. Not up to the standards of the fire department.
Yeah, but it's about addressing, not about fire department access.
On our maps, it shows some kind of easement over that existing lot.
Right, but it's
Can you explain that?
not about.
Have you done the research on that?
It's about where the-
Existing homestead lot,
Yeah,
or?
the farm lot where the animals,
I know a little bit about that. It's in that like bump out area on the back end of the lot, that square, is that what you mean?
No, it's the whole thing shows as some kind of, forget what they called it, it was some weird name, of an
Homestead?
easement that I had never seen before.
Current use homestead or something?
No, I looked into it a little bit, it was it started with grazing rights, and then it was a grant to the city of Portsmouth in 2001 for like observation, just for the benefit of the people of Portsmouth. It looked like it was set to expire in 10 years in '01, but I don't know if
So
that was
just
ever
confirm
renewed.
that,
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen, but
and then,
I can check with survey.
I am almost positive the city has an easement over that corner of lot one for that sharp corner that, so I know we reset their fence and I don't remember if we did it with MOU or if we got an easement on that corner.
Okay,
Thought we had a small easement on that corner for the traffic signal,
okay.
and I might be wrong.
If the easement doesn't exist, is that something that we should try and incorporate into these approvals? Or you're good?
We'll see if it's there yet.
Okay.
In addition to that easement they referenced, isn't there some kind of deed restriction or life estate on this property?
The person who occupied the home has passed, so.
Yes, we're all aware, very
Yes.
much so.
That might be what they're referring to, the grazing rights or something to do with the livestock.
Speaking of which, where are the sheep gonna go?
I think they're gone, aren't
They
they?
haven't been there for many years.
Yeah.
Big concern.
Why do you always wanna know this shit?
Maybe in one of the houses, I don't know.
Do you want some sheep?
Yes.
For the rear versus side lot line, the rear is gonna be opposite where the address is pulled. So you may wanna reach out to assessing, and see for lot one, they might just pull the address straight from South Street no matter what. So it might be worth reaching out to them to see what their addressing assignment might look like.
Thank you.
Well, if the driveway was on Richards Ave, there would be more of a pull.
Yeah, if you were gonna have it dedicated, it would, it wouldn't make sense to
And that would help you,
Yes.
side setback.
Yeah, it would.
So you said you don't need any relief for any of these lots?
No, not as proposed with those building footprints. We meet the areas, frontages.
Is this gonna trigger site plan?
Yeah, it's a 3-lot subdivision, so you'll have to go through site plan review.
Yeah, I think when I originally looked at this, I thought it was just the one lot you were subdividing.
So these lots are separate already. The South Street lot, and I don't know if there's a good plan that
Yeah,
shows
there's-
it, is already separate, so we're
There's
breaking.
two existing parcels,
Right,
so it's a lot line adjustment first. There'll still be two, and then we're gonna subdivide one of them into two. So we start with two, we end with three.
But you're putting the lot line adjustment goes onto the third parcel,
Correct.
so that's 3,
Creating three or just impacting three?
impacting 3.
What if we did the lot line adjustment first?
Then you're trying to be clever.
we certainly try, we don't always succeed.
And no.
Reason.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd see it as subdivision, site review.
I'm sure there are plenty of waivers that can be.
Yeah. And you'd have to come through anyway, through TAC anyway for your
Correct,
subdivision,
yeah.
so.
So you can look at what waivers, what
Okay.
things you don't need.
Yeah.
Request those waivers.
Have you contacted the assessing department yet for the map lots?
I did not, did you, Sean?
No, not yet.
Should reach out to them.
Okay.
That driveway for lot one, I mean, if you wanted to cheat it up slope 6 feet or so to get it away from that existing house, I think we would consider that the same spot.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Just wouldn't want you to go beyond, where that catch basin is, Sean.
Okay.
That would create a drainage issue for us. If you wanted to pull it away from the existing house a little bit, I think we would treat that as the same spot.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you.
that sounds good.
Yeah, and it might even be that we can share that curb cut and then just come off right away, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drainage for both lots needs to go to Richards Ave.
Yeah.
So the easement that goes through there has to have drainage, sewer, and access. And maybe water, depending if you wanna make good decisions or not.
And you might as well incorporate the option for it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be cheaper to cut through there, let's do that.
And it's South Street, not South Road.
Sorry,
Other than that, you're okay.
is that on one of these plans? I think they had that on there and I saw that, okay. I will make him change that.
But no plans for the houses yet?
Not yet.
Is that something going through the next process? You know, what's the city's position on that? Showing the houses and the footprints?
We're gonna wanna see roughly how many square feet and that you've accounted for the drainage.
Okay,
But we could do like a typical house box and then as long as we stay within the realm of,
Like a building envelope?
It's not
Yeah.
HTC, so
well,
we don't care
okay, great.
necessarily.
okay.
We wanna make sure we can service it, water, sewer, and handle the stormwater with the new impervious.
Okay, so we'll be conservative.
As far as this group goes.
You'll have, you have to ask for a waiver for site review, they do wanna see elevations, but if you ask for a waiver, they might entertain that.
Okay.
Good? You good?
All right,
Awesome, thank you all.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, we'll adjourn, that's the last item.